Hello YouTube family, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sharida and welcome. And in today's video, I am giving you my entire Lattafa collection and I'm going to rank it. This lineup is just insanely phenomenal. If you are looking to just dip your toe into Middle Eastern fragrances, this house is where you need to start. And truth be told, you could just stay here for a good little while. They have something for everyone, no matter your fragrance taste. And I just think that Lattafa is a house that continuously, kind of pushes themselves. They're getting better. They got noses that are very well respected, behind a lot of these perfumes now. And I just absolutely love it. And not only do I love the scents, baby, these price points are where it's at. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. All right, you guys, before we start, it's always be sure that you are subscribed to my channel. And if you find any value in the content, please give your girl a big thumbs up. So the first one on this list is loved by many. It is TikTok viral, but the more I smell this, the more I'm annoyed by it. My daughter wore this the other day and I was just like, what do you have on? I almost wanted to say, because you don't need to wear it no more. But this has really gotten so loud and sweet, and Yara is just not poor performing at all. This scent was just going on and on and on all day, and I feel like it really took time to get there. When I first wore this, I thought that it wore a little moderate, and I got a compliment at the very end of my day. So I didn't know at the time, is it because I oversprayed the heck out of it, on black polyester uniform? I don't know, but I was getting compliments on this fragrance well, probably 10 hours into my day. So I guess it never had a problem with performance, but it has really gotten strong. So this fragrance, for me, there is just something a little cheap about the way this smells, and I don't know where this is coming from. If I had to guess, it's just because of the way the fruits are done. Nothing else in this fragrance should be problematic, but fruits can definitely be artificial smelling just depending on what they have put in it, and that is what I get from this. So this is my least favorite for the entire collection as far as what I have from Lattafa, but it's not a bad scent. It's just one that I have grown out of like with, for sure. So this is my daughter's now, technically, because I really just don't care to wear it. They've come out with something that will put you in the mindset of that's like 20 times better, and we will get to that one a little later on in the list. But this opens with orchid, heliotrope, tangerine. You have middle notes of tropical fruits and gourmand accord, and you have base notes of vanilla, musk, and sandalwood. I really do enjoy the way the musk and the sandalwood are done in here. It's very musky, powdery. You've got to enjoy powdery scents. If you love like those la fruity, musky, vanilla forward fragrances, I think that you would love this fragrance. So many people do. So me personally, I feel like Kiss of Pink is a little better, and it's just so many fragrances that will remind you of Yara now that just have a little something better about them. So I would say you can skip this one and maybe find a better alternative, is my opinion. Okay, so next up is going to be Affection Love. Now Lattafa does a lot of inspired buys or dupes, but this one, they just, this is going to be inspired by clearly Yum Pistachio Gelato from KALI, but this baby performs really well. So does Yum once it has had that time to macerate, but this one is performing right out of the box. Have not worn this in a while. I would imagine that it has gotten even more robust. So if you love that scent profile, but you don't want to necessarily pay $100 for the KALI, then this is going to be a very budget-friendly alternative. Wonderful performing, same notes, 100 ml. Okay, so this one opens with blackcurrant, hazelnut, and pistachio. You have middle notes of lactones, jasmine, raspberry, lily of the valley, base notes of more lactones, vanilla, and tonka bean. So the lactones are pretty much replaced with the ice cream notes from the KALI or the whipped cream, and they smell very similar. Something about this one actually wears just a little thicker to me, and just really beautiful. If you want to get a fragrance that's got some really sweet, fluffy, gourmand components, and it's got a touch of pistachio, then that is where this comes in. And I just think this is so much bang for your buck. It's beautiful, and it says Lily of the Valley, but this is definitely going to be a very musky fragrance. So if you love musky, powdery, then check this one out. It's very gourmand, and I absolutely love it. Again, this one is Affection Love. love. So next on the list is going to be Yara Candy. This is, I think, the latest release from the Yara line, and this is just so fun. It's pretty, it's easy to wear. The way they have done like the fruity candy aspects in here actually work for me, and they don't give me that cheap smelling vibe like Yara does now. So this one was a great performer, again, right out the gate. But overall, you guys, when it comes to your Middle Eastern fragrances, they definitely all get better and stronger with time. Some of them come out the box ready to go, but the scent may not be settled and giving you what it's really going to give for, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks. If you can let them macerate, that is when you're going to get a true idea of what this scent is supposed to be doing. Some are going to smell just strange if they're really brand new drops and you haven't given them time to macerate. As a rule of thumb, I always empty out the straw, get it, take it outside or on the opposite end of the house where no one's going to be, and you just spray it like maybe like 10 times, clear out that straw, and just let it settle. Okay, that's going to let a little air get into it. It's going to release some of that trapped, I don't know what, chemical mess that tends to lodge itself in these during transport. And then you're going to give these fragrances real opportunity, and some of them just need that. So this one has notes of black currant, green tangerine, strawberry fizz candy, gardenia, vanilla in the base, along with some amber, musk, and sandalwood. It is very simple and no profile. I feel like if you love sweet black currant, you really do get a strawberry candy gummy ring vibe from this. If you like the idea of how that sounds, I think you would enjoy it. It's very vanilla forward, fruity, slightly musky, not as nearly as musky and powdery as the original Yara, not at all. And it's balanced with a gorgeous gardenia that just elevates it just a touch so that it's wearable. Okay, you smell like candy, but you smell like perfume as well. And I just really love the way that this smells. It's, again, very fun. Like, don't take it too seriously, okay? If you're trying to smell like candy, yes. If the thought of that is off-putting or childish, don't go near it. The name is Yara Candy, so that's what you can anticipate to smell like candy, okay? And for that reason, I actually enjoy it, especially for spring and summer. All right, so next up on the list is Nebras. And the reason this one is actually a little lower is because I have found some alternatives that perform a little better. They smell very, very similar, but they perform better. This one is just one that even after maceration, I feel like I have to spray really heavy to get what I would consider like true moderate wear. For me, moderate is going to be 5 hours. Long wearing to me is 5 hours plus, like that 5-8 hours. Super long lasting is that 8 to 12 hour range. Anything below 5 is going to be, I would say that 3-4 is low end of moderate. If you're giving me 2 hours, this is poor performance. That's just how I figured this stuff in my head, but you could have a very different numbering system. That's just mine. So when I say moderate on here, I'm talking 5 hours. This smells really beautiful. It is comparable to Eilish, the original by Billie Eilish, but this scent just comes off a little better to my nose. Eilish has something a little metallic about it, and I don't know why or where that's coming from, but I don't really get that here. So this is going to be sugary. Like, you can literally, like, the crisp and crunchiness of a granulated sugar is literally the texture that I get when I smell this. Like, I'm literally smelling sugar and red berries with some chocolatey components. That is what this is giving. So it opens with red berries and mandarin orange. It has middle notes of vanilla, cacao, and rose, and base notes of sugar, tonka bean, amber, and musk. It is very ambery, slightly musky. Between the musk and the cacao, I would say you get a slight powdery nuance, but it's not going to be anything like suffocating and OD powdery. The vanilla is very prominent in here. And even though the chocolate is a major component of this, I wouldn't classify it as a chocolate scent. Because the red berries are so robust, it kind of takes it out of that realm. You do have a beautiful rose just balancing everything out. So if you don't like rose particularly, I think you can still pull this one off quite easily. The name of the game here is going to be sugar, vanilla, red berries, and a touch of cacao. That's what you're getting. Love this one, but I just find that the alternatives that I've added are just a little bit better, okay? So next up is going to be one. Y'all, when I tell you I got a compliment off this, 10 hours, I feel like, into my work day. And this is going to be inspired by a fragrance that gave me the worst performance, I swear. This is Ansaam Gold, and this smells very similar to Oriana Parfums de Marly. Oriana, I owned it as soon as it was released, okay? Didn't give it time. Back then, I didn't know much about macerating, giving it time, none of that. So it may be a scent that I let go of just way too soon. This was a brand new release from Parfums de Marly. They didn't even like big it up. Like, it just dropped one day. And so I don't know if we just got those bottles like fresh off the press, because it was very poorly performing and it didn't give me those delicious, sweet, marshmallowy, gourmand vibes outside of the opening. It turned into a big musk bomb that was very underwhelming on my skin. But this one, I feel like wears pretty linear, and you really are getting this delicious marshmallowy quality throughout the life of the fragrance, and this performs. If you have been looking for an alternative that truly does give you that scent profile but with amazing performance, here she go. Here she is, okay? So Ansaam Gold is sweet and delicious, and it opens with notes of mandarin orange and pear. You have middle notes of sweet notes, jasmine and rose, and you have base notes of vanilla, musk, and raspberry. So you're getting something quite fruity, and honestly, they're saying jasmine and rose, but it smells like orange blossom to me. It really, really does. A lot of the times I will also say this with your Middle Eastern fragrances, the notes can be very smoke and mirrors, because it's almost like they want you to buy something not knowing that it's inspired by. Clearly, word's going to get out as soon as these, you know, are on YouTube, but we're going to give you our opinion about what it smells like. It's definitely giving Oriana. Not Love, Don't Be Shy. This is giving me much closer to Oriana. It is very musky. It is fruity. It is very sweet, but in a fluffy way. So it says sweet notes, but the sweet notes to me are giving you this marshmallow powdery quality. And you know, you've got that orange featured in the top, but this is really beautiful. And I find that this is going to be a wonderful alternative to that much pricier fuchsia bottle. All right. So again, that one is Ansaam Gold. Next up, Khamrah, the original. And this one was all, when I say all the rave in 2023. And it's not hard to see why. This is very spicy, sexy, ambery. It's Akigala wood. It is date night deliciousness in a bottle that is affordable. It is a beast mode powerhouse fragrance. And all I gotta say is Angel Share. Who? Y'all, I just got back from New York. I was in line about to go through TSA, and all of a sudden I was just getting wafts. And I thought that, okay, does someone have on Angel Share? Because if so, maybe I'm gonna have to go and buy the bottle again. It was a declutter, but I was getting wafts and I couldn't figure out who it was. At first I thought it was this man that walked by, but it was literally the lady standing behind me, and I had to ask her. I was like, ma'am, are you wearing Angel Share, the fragrance? And she was like, no, it's actually like a Middle Eastern brand in like a clear bottle. And I was like, she's wearing Khamrah. She didn't know the name, but I knew the name, because I was trying to place the scent, but whatever it was giving me these Angel Share vibes, but it smelled so much better. This is what she had. It is so special to smell a fragrance that you love out on the streets, out in the air, not on you. It just hits differently when you smell it on someone, and you really get an idea of what other people are experiencing when they smell a fragrance on you, because it's a very different experience. Anyway, this lady had my nose captivated the entire TSA long wait at the JFK airport, and this is very popular for good reason. This is a lot more complex than Angel Share, very much so some differences, though they have similarities. This is just a better fragrance. This is not going to be as thick, though it is very powerful, much more long lasting. It is not as cloying as I found that one to be. Now, this is very spicy. You do have to love it spicy. Akigala wood is very unique note in fragrances, and so you do have to vibe with that, because you really do pick up on it in this. So if you're not a fan of that, if you don't like that something that you smell in Guidance and Possibilities, in what other fragrances does it really stand out in? It's just a note that if you love it, you love it. If you don't, you do not like it. But I love it, okay? And when this came out, I said that I can see Quentin Beach being the nose behind this. For the longest, they didn't even tell you the nose behind these fragrances, but Givaudan is definitely the house that gave us Khamrah, and I just wouldn't be surprised. And I'm gonna tie that into a fragrance that we're gonna talk about later, and I'm like, I bet my suspicions were absolutely dead on. So Khamrah, amazing fragrance if you love it sweet and spicy, but without that booziness. So next up is going to be Her Confession, and this is is their take on Blanche Bet. Now, if you're asking me which is better, honey, the original Blanche Bet, ain't nobody touching her with a 10-foot pole. But if you're looking for something that is much more affordable, that comes, I would say we're like 90%, 95% there, because that 10 and 5%, baby, it'd be making a whole heck of a lot of difference. This is going to be the closest that I've smelled to her, but it just lacks that magic. Are you getting something absolutely beautiful, delicious, elevated, sophisticated, gourmand? Yes. Okay. This one wears just maybe a little less lactonic than your girl Blanche, but it has many of the similar notes. It wears maybe a touch sweeter, but they are very close. You guys, when I tell you they did a phenomenal job on trying to recreate that scent, they did a phenomenal job. So this opens with notes of mystical and cinnamon. You have middle notes of tuberose, mahonial, jasmine, incense, and you have base notes of vanilla, tonka bean, and musk. So the notes are very similar to Blanche Bet, and it's even listing some of those proprietary notes that we see in the original fragrance, but this is just beautiful. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's very vanilla, white floral forward, and it's just got a warmth and just a beautiful quality about it. It's very hard to describe. If you love musky, slightly powdery, gourmand, vanilla forward, that is what she is. Give her a try. You may really enjoy this one, even if you did not enjoy the original, because like I said, I get just something a little less lactonic than the original. The original is, she is milky all up and down, so you really do have to love lactonic to vibe with that. But if that was your only issue, you like the smell but it turned your stomach or something like that, I will say give her Confession a try, because I don't think you would have that issue with this one. All right, next up is going to be Khamrah Qahwa. Probably my favorite of the two. This one just is a little easier to wear. It's not quite as loud and she wears just as beautiful. It doesn't have the Yakigala wood in here, okay? So that is definitely a major difference. So if you did not like that note, go with this one. This is so beautiful, sweet, ambery, syrupy deliciousness. It's spicy, but not as spicy. Still amazing performance. To die for, sweet fall winter fragrance. Okay, that is what Khamrah Qahwa is. So this one opens with notes of cardamom, ginger, and cinnamon. It has middle notes of praline, candy fruit, white flowers, base notes of vanilla, coffee, tonka bean, benzoin, and musk. The coffee is very light in this fragrance, so if you're not a coffee lover, fear not, because that you do not get throughout the life of the scent, and it's not super robust. You're going to get a very beautiful benzoin. It's very resinous, it's spicy, but the spiciness in here is just a lot smoother and just, like I said, easier to wear. It's very sweet from their praline, and it is just a banger. If you're looking for a phenomenal fall winter fragrance that is resinous and spicy, this one right here is the one. This one again is Khamrah Qahwa. Next is going to be a crazy looking bottle, but when I tell you, don't hold it against this fragrance, this is going to be Sehr. This is really, really good, and it took me a while to figure out, was this inspired by something? Because when I first sprayed it, it definitely reminded me of something, but I couldn't put a finger on it. And it's because it does have all of the notes, the essences of that original fragrance, which is Tom Ford's Vanilla Sex, however, it has additional components that separate it, give it a unique quality, and it fills all these missing holes that I felt like I had when I owned Vanilla Sex. Vanilla Sex was very poor performing on me, very poor. I oversprayed the heck out of that thing for, I feel like, Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner last year. Child, by the time I got to my mom's house and sat down, I forgot I even had a fragrance on. I couldn't smell it on me. This is giving you that smell, that delicious marzipan, almond, vanilla scent, but they have added some spiciness. And it's sweeter and it's much better performing, okay? It's not a loud beast, but baby, you're gonna smell this after, 6, 7, 8 hours, you're gonna still smell it. It smells so beautiful, and this, again, it's just filling these holes that that very expensive fragrance just had, that made me just declutter it, okay? Declutter it, offload it, get some of my money back, honey, because I could not at that price point. So this one opens with bitter almond, cinnamon, Akigala wood in the mid, with some pomerols and jasmine, and then you have base notes of vanilla absolute, tonka bean, and amber. Above all, very almond, vanilla, amber. That's what you're going to get. However, the addition of that cinnamon, very, very, very slight presence of an akigala wood, and it almost had to fully macerate before I could even pick up on it. It is very faint. So if you're not a fan of that note, you really don't have to worry about it like you have to do in the original Khamrah. You have to like akigala wood to vibe with this one. This is sweet. It's a very smooth seduction. Okay, though it features that cinnamon, the cinnamon is not super punchy. It's not going to blow your head off like it will in here. This is so gorgeous. Like, this wears so soft, warm, spicy that you could just spritz a little bit of this on and go to bed and not disturb you. I would never wear this to bed unless I'm in the mood to really be hit over the head in my sleep. Very, very beautiful fragrance. If you love almond, if you love vanilla, you absolutely need to give this one a try because it is very well done. Again, this is Sehr and one of my tops, okay? So we're getting down to top 6, okay? Now, this one, I cannot believe this was in my declutter pile at one point. I got this one when it was brand spanking new. As soon as it was released, I got it. And it has gotten so much better after just sitting and aging and macerating. And it has really gone up to, you know, one of my tops. This is Teriaq's Honor and Glory. And God, it's so unique. It is spicy, it is sexy, it is date night, any time of year, because this has a very prominent pineapple. So with that, you're going to say, oh, okay, this is summer date night. This is, we really have somewhere sexy, grown up to go. You're going to smell like just money bags. That's what you're going to get when you put this on. Very Dubai princess or prince, because anyone can wear this, but very unique because you have that turmeric, you've got a creme brulee note. It just comes together to create a very spicy, sexy fragrance, okay? So what I did end up loving about it is the sweetness really started to come through, whereas the sweetness was kind of there, but I was getting a lot more turmeric, a lot more spice. The sweetness is where it needs to be at this point. So coupled with that pineapple, it's just going to smell sweet, delicious, juicy, spicy. So this opens with pineapple and creme brulee. You have middle notes of turmeric, cinnamon, benzoin, and black pepper. You have base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, cashmere, and moss. I would say it is quite mossy, and a lot of people have issues with oak moss. If you have an issue with that note, please try this first. If you do not like it spicy, probably not going to be for you. Try it first if you can. But this is a phenomenal fragrance. It is a beast on 10. And if you love pineapple, you want something unique, sweet, irresistible, this is it. Teriaq's Honor and Glory. Next up is going to be one I have been ranting and raving about. Okay, we're in the top 5, so naturally this one would be in the top 5. This is Eclaire. Eclaire smells just like one of my favorites, Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana. But baby, when I tell you they have nailed the scent, this is like 99% there. The only difference is going to be they perform differently. The original one is so strong and it is so like rich, dense, thick, sweet, all of the things. A lot of people find it to be very overwhelming, cloying. I don't. I love everything about it, but this one is going to give you all the sweet, decadent richness, but it's not going to be as loud. So it's not going to be as overwhelming. This one is going to be on that moderate wearing range where I feel like 5 hours, you're still going to smell this on you easily. So if you are looking for something with that scent profile that's not as overwhelming, give this one a try. So this one opens with notes of milk, sugar, and caramel, middle notes of honey and white flour, base notes of vanilla, praline, and musk. If you love vanilla, you like it lactonic, you love caramel, vanilla girly, here you go. I cannot recommend this one enough. This one is Eclaire. Next one is a newer one to my Lattafa world, and when I tell you, this blew my socks off immediately. Another Teriaq, and this is Noble Blush. This smells like a milkshake gourmand version of Delina. I say that because the way the rose is done in here, phenomenal. This is so expensive smelling rose, but it's milky and creamy and delicious and smooth, and you don't have any tart, sharp rhubarb, none of that, but you are definitely picking up on something fruity, and they do not indicate that in the notes. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a lychee or something in here, because you're going to get something just very slightly Delina-esque. And I mean, okay, maybe it's because of the way the rose is done, but there is something slightly fruity key in this. It truly is. So outside of the rose milk, which it opens with, you have also notes of meringue and almond. You have base notes of vanilla, sandalwood, and musk. And you are really getting something that comes off like a meringue, whipped, fluffy, airy, but there's still a denseness that comes in with that milk, that rose milk note. It is absolutely beautiful. If you found that this was cheap smelling, powdery, more than musky, I would say give this one a try, but you do have to love rose. This one is not all about a rose, okay? This is. You have to love rose if you love Delina, but you would envision a gourmand take on a Delina without any sharp fruits, then this is it. It performs really beautifully. I can smell this on me definitely past the 5-6 hour mark. So if you were to, you know, overspray this, you could easily get all day wear out of it. It's phenomenal. It's a compliment getter, and my favorite of the florals that this house offers, this is it. This is so beautiful, and you need it in your life if you're a rose lover, period. Okay, next up is going to be one of the most beautiful, jaw-dropping, spectacular sandalwood fragrances out of my entire 400 bottle perfume collection. Okay, we're talking about Musamam White Intense. So good. It is so good. There is a beautiful complexity about this, and it's not going to be like every other sandalwood that you've smelled. There is an element of magic that they have thrown in the mix here, and I am so here for it. So this opens with spices, bergamot and orange. You have middle notes of coconut, ylang, and ambroxan and mahonial, and you have base notes of sandalwood, musk, and benzoin. So the coconut in here, it's not like a super suntanny coconut. There's something a little maybe richer and thicker. It's not like a coconut water, I should say, more like a coconut meat is what I get from here. And you have just a slight creaminess also from that ylang. Very good performance because it's got those moleculars. You've got the ambroxan in the mid. You have also the mahonial, and the spices are not super strong and prominent in here, but there is something very ever so slightly leathery in the background of the scent, giving it just a slight Middle Eastern touch. And if I had to guess, maybe they added a little saffron in here. That's what my nose picks up on for sure. It's slightly sweet, and the benzoin, the sandalwood, the musk, you're getting so much of it. So it's a little ambery, and it's creamy coconutty, and it's just phenomenal. If you love sandalwood and you're looking for something that stuns, that, you know, turns heads, performs, just not your regular dry sandalwood fragrance, but not too much going on in it where it's going to steal the spotlight from the sandalwood, that is what this is. Musamam White Intense, just a 10 out of 10 fragrance, and one of my best from Lattafa. All right, we down to the top two. We down to the top two. Now this is really going to shock you. I couldn't decide if this should be number one, but you all know how I feel about this fragrance. This is Ishq Gold, and this is from their Pride collection, and this is a dead ringer for NAVITUS number 5, which is one of my favorite fragrances. This is very saffron, vanilla, caramel, just sweet, amber, musky, irresistible sexiness. It's so powerful, it's sexy, it's everything. And this lists a note of leather, but I do not get a straight up leather vibe from this. This definitely gives me saffron. This is so beautifully executed. And this is literally my first experience of something with a Middle Eastern brand that's okay, they really mean the dupes are duping, because I bought this saying there is just no way that something at this price point is going to explicitly do one of my favorite complex fragrances at that. Baby, when I tell you they hit the nail on the head. Beautiful 10 out of 10 all of the things fragrance. And I mean, I've talked about this 100 times on my channel, and that's why I love this scent profile, and they nailed it. Okay, so if you had been curious about NAVITUS number 5, you don't want to spend the coins, you're not a sample girly, start here, because you can get it for like 30 bucks. Okay, a full bottle. And honey, if you don't like it, you didn't spend $300, $200. I don't know how much NAVITUS retails for right now, but it's pricey. It's a niche fragrance, and you don't even need it. Truth be told, you don't even need it, because this is like 99% there. All right, this one again is Ishq Gold. Last but not least, now this is crazy because this fragrance is very new to my collection. First of all, it's from the nose of Quentin Beige, so we are not shocked. Okay, we are not shocked. Didn't know what to expect from this, but I did not expect for this one to captivate me in the way that it did. So this one is Teriaq, and this is the Intense. If you saw my review of the original one, I wasn't a fan. It smelled like a LaBelle flanker to me. me. And I'm so over the super sweet pairs that are just cloying to me personally. Immediate declutter. And that's why I'm gonna tell you, if I don't like it, you're gonna know. It doesn't matter if Quentin made it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. And it is, it's out of here. This smells nothing like the original, okay? So even though they're saying intense, like it's a flanker, it's almost like a his and hers, but not really his, because this is very unisex. Anyone can wear this, but I know my Frou Frou Lala fragrance girlies are probably going to smell this, especially if you're not in the Middle Eastern world. You're gonna think this may lean just a little masculine. Me personally, when I say obsessed with this scent, this is boozy, it is spicy, it is sexy plum. It almost gives me like a Qahwa paired with a plum and cognac. If you've ever smelled that fragrance, that is sexy, it's plum, it's boozy, it's everything. If those two fragrances had a baby, this is what you would have. This definitely gives you remnants, okay? This is why I say, I bet you Mr. Quentin was probably the nose or had a hand in these Khamrahs, I'm telling you. And this almost could be a flanker of them. Like, but this is the better of all the three. This is it. I keep saying this because I just need you to smell it. I just need you to smell it because it is 10 out of 10 phenomenal. Of course it performs. It's spicy, it's saffron, it's boozy, it's sweet, it's ambery. It performs right out the gate. This doesn't need time to sit, macerate, figure out. Honey, so this one knows what its job is. It comes to work on time. It does not clock out early. It stays overtime. It just understood the assignment. This is so sexy. It's date night. It's everything. And this is one of the most addictive ambers with spiciness that I have. It's mind-blowingly good. That's what I can say about it. You don't need a lot. 1, 2, you're good. The first day I wore this, I sprayed it on and pretty much I was in bed all day recovering from traveling, just binge watching TV. When I tell you I was doing this every 5-10 minutes, I was doing this because I couldn't get enough of the intoxicating quality of the scent. I am obsessed, I'm in love, and this is my favorite Lattafa now. I have so many good ones, but this is going to be so hard to top. Haven't seen a ton of reviews on this. I know some people are really loving it, but I don't know if they're as obsessed with it as I am because I am over the moon about this fragrance, okay? So this opens with saffron and bergamot. You have middle notes of plum, liquor, and cinnamon, and you have base notes of amber, tonka bean, and benzoin. Again, that delicious syrupy melted resins, amber. That's what you're getting. You're getting a lot of saffron, but it's not a saffron that goes into this really heavy leather territory. It almost comes off as the way the amber and saffron is done here. That's the way it comes off in this one. The cinnamon is so beautiful. It's robust, but it's not overly sharp and punchy. It's very wearable for me, and spicy cinnamons can definitely be a problem for me, which is why I love this one, but I don't wear it too often, okay? And the plum, it is a plum liquor. If you want to smell sexy with a unique touch, get you something with a boozy plum note. So good, so good. It's sweet, it's irresistible, it's amber. If you love plum, boozy, you know, vanilla amber, that's the vibe I get from it. This is it. It is phenomenal, 10 out of 10, and I cannot recommend this one enough. Again, this one is Teriaq Intense. So that is it, you guys. I hope I'm not talking too loud. I'm trying to overtalk them. The long people out there doing their thing. Hopefully you can't hear it, but this is it. These are my Lattafas. I love these, and this is a house you have to get your nose on these fragrances, especially their original creations, because they are bussin', okay? This is a bussin' fragrance. You guys, thank you so much. I know this video went a little long, but I really wanted to give you all a great overhaul of this house. What other dedicated houses do you want to see me review? Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know your top 3 Lattafas, or are you a Lattafa version? If so, honey, we need to pop that cherry, and this video is sure to give you some options. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been real. I love you all. YouTube, be sure you are subscribed, and I will catch you guys on the next one.